StreamYard, I feel like you know what I can do? I can make hyperliquid my background.
Congratulations, Dawufi. You have been the cold open of our live show, which leads me to tell everybody listening in podcast land and everywhere else, Goodnow revolutionaries, it's time for Rise Up After Dark. There it is. Hello again, my friends, and welcome. Tonight is September 24th, but wherever you are, whenever you listen, we hope it's a good now and that your candles are green. This is the show, if you're tuning in for the first time, where we let our hair down, DYOR, BYOB, and talk a little shit about the crypto industry, even as we answer your questions. And tonight, I am pleased to report that we are joined by the Zaddy of ZK and the Sultaness of Savvy Marketing, David Dawufi and Sophia from Opacity Network. My friends, welcome. David, welcome back. And Sophie, welcome. This is your first ever live stream show. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Super excited. If I was going to do it, I'm glad it's here.
Ah, that's what we love to hear. On Rise Up After Dark, we play a little game where every time you hear this sound, it means that somebody speaking or someone we're speaking about has gotten a point. And every time you hear this sound, means that somebody who's speaking or somebody we're speaking about has lost a point. And at the end of the night, if I'm feeling charitable and we reach a arbitrary number of points, then somebody will win some sort of fabulous prize, at the very least some canned applause and a little bit of appreciation and jealousy until next week. So, my friends, if you're in the audience, you're playing too. Say something great. Drop us a question, a suggestion, a good joke, a word of wisdom, a prediction, and let us know what you're drinking, what you're thinking. I am pleased to report that tonight I am drinking a beverage called the Scarecrow from a place called Dutch Brothers. I'm sure it's got a ton of sugar and it's like hazelnut, dark chocolate. Kimberly got it for me, bless her. That's my fiance, Kimberly, because tomorrow I'm going to go audition for the North American tour of Wicked in Nashville. And it's always been one of my stage dreams to play the Scarecrow. So not exactly the Scarecrow, but like pre-Scarecrow. And I'm pre-gaming for it. So cheers, my friends.
I just want to make one note for our guests that the game that Evan just described is incredibly corrupt. It is rigged. And tonight is going to be even worse because I'm missing one single cable that prevents me from also participating in awarding points and gwumps, which means that Evan is completely by himself in his corruption, and it's going to be a rough night. And I'm
this
sorry.
is a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
Good point, Alex.
Suck it, Alex. David, how have you been since I saw you last, man? We've been like 2 months since you guys were on the show together? 3?
Yeah, something like that. I remember we met after Denver, took a little bit of time after that.
Yeah.
Things are good. Markets are up. Somehow I managed to not make money no matter which way they go. So that's always fun. But Opacity continues to grow and expand, and we're doing a lot of really interesting stuff. But I think, for the purposes of this call, I am happy. And as promised in the Telegram chat, I came with an espresso martini. It's a baby one because it's nighttime, but I am here to have a good time. And as I said in the chat as well, I am levered to the hilt. So this should be a good stream, hopefully.
Yeah! Oh my gosh. And do you guys want to just take a second and, for folks who haven't seen you before, introduce yourselves, tell us a little about who you are, what you do. Sophie, would you like to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my best intro is getting into the tech space. I was doing hospitality suites manager at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium, which was an awesome job. When my old boss called me, said, "Hey, I'd like you to talk to my vibe architect." I said, "What's that?" He said, "He's a BD guy." Like, all right, I'll give him a talk too. And it worked out. And now I'm working with Opacity. So,
very cool. Very cool. And surely you have all the best fantasy draft picks. You're winning your leagues, and
I can proudly say I won my Dynasty Fantasy Football League last year. In my dining room, there's a huge trophy. I get to keep it all season. I'm quite proud.
That's killer. Dawufi, what about you, brother?
I know nothing about sports except Formula One. So Sophie is here to remind me that there is a broad world out there of regular people that are need to see the gospel. I think she's downplaying her role just a little bit at Opacity. She is very much the voice of reason, let's say. And I think that's why I'm really excited to have her on here with me, because I tend to get lost in the weeds. I've been in the industry a long time. She's the person that reminds us when we have a new website being developed, which we are. She says, do not put those words in there. No one knows what they mean, and no one cares what they mean anyway. So yeah, I think this will be good. But as far as me and what I do vibes at Opacity. That means some business development, some marketing, some growth, a lot of ideation about what the future of crypto looks like and how we can help push that forward to make a new, better internet. And I'm sure we'll get into what Opacity does, but that's what I do.
And we've had Opacity on the show before. We've gotten to talk about it at length in detail. I can refer you to that episode, probably not as well as Evan GPT will be able to someday, but we'll absolutely link it in the show notes, the recording. And if you have questions about it, let us know. LLM Debater says in the comments about your martini, geez, Dawufi is here to party. So
I think that he should start with probably the first ding for that being the single fanciest drink anyone's ever brought to Rise Up.
I've got a fancy little tequila pineapple over here.
Oh my God.
Okay, you guys both came prepared.
I just want you to know, Sophie already has 4 points. Dawufi's got 3. Okay. Alex, we're really...
I'm winning, right?
My only goal tonight is to beat David. Anybody else, I don't have to win. I just got to beat David.
Yeah, you're on track. Let me tell you that. So we do have a couple of questions coming in, and they are in fact crypto questions. But before the stream, Sophie was saying, I'm kind of new to crypto, and so I don't know that I can catch up to some of the news and whatnot. But I really would like to start with you, if it's okay, and ask you, like, as somebody who is a professional and coming to our relatively nascent industry, what are some of your takes? Maybe give us like a good thing, a bad thing, or just like, I don't know, anything that defied your expectations as you've spent more time working here.
Yeah, I'd like to start with, it is fully, David used to say this all the time. He's like, you're going to be drinking water out of a fire hose. And he was not wrong. The crypto world is just that. It is drinking water out of a fire hose. There's so much to it. There's so many different aspects of it. The news, the crypto. I find interest in the crypto betting. So that's its whole thing in itself. So it's just so much. Also, there's its own social media. There's Farcaster. I've never heard of that until I came into the crypto world. And there's its own social world too, alongside just the news and all of the laws and everything that goes around it. So I think it was just interesting to step into that space, because I'm from the sports world and I never knew crypto was its own world. So I think I'm the opposite side of David, where he lives in the crypto world, I live in sports world, and I'm like, interesting looking at each other's sides of everything.
Yeah, Alex sometimes says, he used to say learning about crypto is like drinking from a fire hose. And then what was it? One of our friends in the comments said, actually, it's more like being pushed in the river.
Head first.
Kind of.
You don't know how to swim, but good luck, kid. If they're nice to you, that's what they say. So it's nice that you're here. We need more people who have, like, I don't know, adult real world experience. I think crypto is growing up as an industry, but I don't know. We all have had this conversation. I know, David, we've talked about it. It's kind of like we're ahead of the curve in some ways, but we're behind the curve in a lot of ways too. Alex, you were just saying that the other day. We're the bleeding edge of the bleeding edge, but like
that's one of the reasons I was so excited to get you on the show, Sophie, is because we say that all the time. We are, the bleeding edge of the bleeding edge of the bleeding edge of the tech space, and yet we are somehow living in this weird little world wherein we don't think we need to like speak clearly to people and tell them about what it is that we're doing. Like we all think that we're going to build these hyper convoluted, nonsensical, often protocols and projects, and then a billion people are just gonna be like, oh, I've been missing zk-TLS my entire life. Like, I'm here and I'm ready to go. Let's do this, without like any instruction, with no like, lengthy informationals and no content and no like nothing relatable about the whole thing. And I just think that's insane. I think it's insane that we're building the coolest, newest stuff ever, but we're still marketing like, I don't know, like we've never seen a commercial before in our entire lives.
What are your takes on it, Sophie?
I completely agree with that. Crypto is so interesting because it's some of like when I first started, I went out to New York Tech Week, or not Tech Week. I went to FarCon.
Oh no, you went to FarCon. Yeah, we threw you way in the ocean.
And I met some of the most intelligent people I'll probably ever meet in my life, and the ideas and the companies they had were just so interesting. And I think the biggest question that kept coming to mind was, why haven't I heard about this? Why isn't this like everywhere? And I think you're right. There's a disconnect. They also didn't know. It took a long time for each of them to be able to explain to me like their companies. As someone, I was like, I don't know crypto, I don't know tech. You got to like bring it down 10 levels. And then they had to bring it down 50 more just to speak to someone who hasn't been in that space. So I think that medium is missing, which is something I found really fun with this job, is talking to those people on the day-to-day, the engineers, the great minds behind the space, and saying, you can't say that. That doesn't make sense to a normal person, and trying to market Opacity for it, which is a great piece of technology. It's something I think will be spread across the entire internet someday without anybody even knowing it, except for the businesses using it. But yeah, it's pretty much fun.
Can you tell me what it was about Opacity that stood out to you? Because I think that's also a good example of like kind of a deeply technical thing that, as you say, probably a lot of people will use one day without even knowing it. But I imagine the pitch might have been a little heady, especially like, you know, you're dealing with, I don't know, marketing athletes all the time. It's kind of a 180. Not that you're not smart enough or couldn't grok it, because clearly you're sharp. But like, what was it about it that stood out to you as like, oh, yeah, I want to tell this story?
I think part of it was a little bit less about the technology, because I really didn't understand it at first. They still were missing the normal person of the company. Respectfully, David, there was a lot of nerds in it. So at the time, they were having trouble, I feel like, explaining it to a normal person almost, because they'd been so used to marketing it to other crypto and Web3 companies. And when they told me what the tech was, I understood it on a very surface level. But what I did understand is that the people that were making it were absolutely brilliant. They were very smart, well-spoken. They had a big idea, and it was going to make an impact on the internet. And I think that's something that really jumped on me with Opacity, is I wanted to be a part of that. I want to be part of something that's going to make an impact. Everybody already loves football. They already love the NFL. I'm not having to convince anyone to go watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We were pushing people away because we sold out too many tickets. So I think it's the opposite side of it is really fun. It's showing people what they should be loving. Or in this case, we're more business to business. So showing other businesses what they should love about it, and then coming to understand the technology. I just think it's interesting how easily it will be integrated into almost every B2C, business to consumer app out there, just because there's so much value in understanding your users. And that's the kind of data we provide, that's going to be so fun to just keep pushing into the internet and seeing how everybody, business and consumer, benefits from it.
Yeah. How do you explain that to people right now? Like, that's a good pitch. And I say, okay, tell me more.
This is where I have been like polishing everything over. I think my first just automatic go-to is I explain our partner Daisy, which I believe David talked about last time. Daisy's an influencer marketing company, and they use us to verify engagement from influencers. So usually in the influencer marketing space, you have to go talk to the agent from the influencer. You have to make a contract, and there's just a lot of things that go on that really slows down the process. So what Daisy does is they use verified technology, which is Opacity, and they verify that influencers are given this campaign, go like and go comment and go share, on this post, and then we verify that they actually did it. So there's trust in that. The contracts don't need to happen. They can just do it instantly. And then companies get a whole bunch of influencers who are commenting, sharing, posting, and it's all organic. And then influencers are getting instant paydays. So it's just taking a whole new aspect to influencer marketing. And that's just one of the thousands of ways it can be used.
Pulling off to a strong lead, leaving us in the dust over here. Alex, I thought that was pretty sweet. That was good. It makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think I think that both. So that one it's relatable, it's understandable. I think, Sophie, on our last meeting, we might have touched on this, but I'm getting more and more interested in trying to, track and create, I guess, my own data sets to kind of talk about the way that marketing is shifting. And one of the statistics that I found that was really interesting came from, shout out my friend Sam, who's a brilliant marketer, Sam. She has created a number of videos about this. In one of her most recent posts, she was talking about how half of all of the money spent in marketing now is going towards creators and influencers, and actually not like overwhelmingly towards gigantic, multi-millions upon millions of follower, huge, large-scale influencers, but tons of like very niched, more micro and kind of medium-sized creators who just have strong, like trust-filled connections with audiences. And so half of every marketing dollar goes there right now, and it's only growing. Like that has been increasing year over year. And I just think it makes so much sense. There's going to be just more and more and more things designed to make that a better experience, because it's rough. I mean, Evan, we are on the receiving end of nonsense. I've gotten 17 today. Ever since the Octane thing posted and gotten us, I've gotten 17 requests to shill just the most garbage you could possibly imagine. And it's hard to keep track of all that kind of stuff. And I mean, even if I wanted to like sit down and go through it all and whatever, like it's tough. Stuff like that I think is so interesting. So I mean, it's the future of marketing. I think it's only gonna increase from here.
So for folks, oh, I'm so sorry, Sophie. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Agree.
Everything.
I agree.
Evan, this is where you give me points.
Actually, I was thinking about dumping you because following Sophie, that was like, that was a 3 out of 5, Alex. But I'll meet you in the middle.
You are so lucky I don't have a soundboard right now.
I am so lucky, honestly. I haven't given myself any points yet, though. So, like, hold your horses on this. For the folks who are just joining us and who are asking, David and Sophie, with apologies to our friends in podcast land who've heard it, are representing Opacity Network. And I do just want to quickly let you know, if you want to play along at home, that the website is, in fact, opacity.network. Or you can find them on X at, can you guess? Opacity Network. And this is a little preview. I've got Dawufi and the Fireflies here. Nice. I've got a couple of projects on deck. Alex, I need you to check the private chat so you can be my conspirator in this. A lot of folks ask us for our opinions on this or that crypto project. And we often are giving our first impressions of these like companies, their use cases. But I think it could be really fun to take a look at some of them together, especially like I can read us in, say, here's who they are, here's where they came from, here's like their end user, and then pull up their website, their brochure, their front page, and just say, is this clear? Is it easy to understand? Do we think they're reaching their target audience? And then answer other folks' crypto questions. So if you've got a question, you've got a project you want us to look over, let us know. And then we also have some questions about crypto regulation. Someone asked about the Genius and Clarity Act. Alex, while I pull this first project up, I want to give you a point in advance because I want to credit you for the wine bottle theory. Can you explain this brilliant marketing and research theory?
Yeah, so I came up with this little mini baby theory several years ago that I called the wine bottle theory, which is basically just as I was going through kind of my beginning stages of crypto research, I'm looking through, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, all these different, aggregators of projects and going through the lists and trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to park some money? What do I want to start to research? Because there's no way I can learn about all this kind of stuff. How am I going to pick something? And I found myself just being drawn automatically to things with really attractive looking labels on the bottle, like a really clean, sensible looking logo, as silly as it sounds, like a clean icon, a name that was like easy to say and pronounce that like immediately invoked at least some kind of a vision. And then if I clicked on the website and I was immediately greeted with like, okay, this is like aesthetically pleasing. I can read this. I can see some information. Even before I consumed a single piece of information about it, I made up my mind like whether or not I was going to stay there. And it occurs to me that this is like how someone also like me who doesn't know anything about wine would go to the grocery store and pick out a bottle of wine if I had to. Like, okay, what's got the coolest looking label? Oh, this one's got a cool animal on it. I like that design. Sure, why not? I'll give it a try. I don't know what I'm doing anyway. And my theory was basically just that those things are going to do better than others because more people than just me agree with that. And so it's always been my first impression, like, okay, what does the label on the bottle of wine look like? What's the cover of the book look like? And because that's honestly make or break for me with as many things as we have to go over and read and like learn about. That's step one. If I can't get past step one, I think most people are going to skip past it too.
So you guys think you're into a little wine bottling for some of these projects? On deck,
I love it.
On deck, we've got Linea, we've got Plasma. Alex, I need you to take that one. And then we've got Orderly. I've got descriptions for all of them, and I'm just going to share websites one by one. So here is what the Linea website looked like. Linea is Ethereum. And Alex, could you maybe even assist me with a screen share real quick?
Yep.
That'd be great. For folks in podcast land, you got to check out the YouTube series. Do I what?
Well, you already put it up. Do you want me to do the next one, or do you want me to take over this one?
I mean, for our friends in the TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Bless you, sir. So Linea is a layer 2, meaning it's a network for crypto built on top of Ethereum. It uses zero knowledge proofs to scale, give people cheaper transactions, and stay compatible with what ETH does. And their basic pitch is, we're like Ethereum, but faster and cheaper. You can do everything you do on Ethereum there, faster, cheaper. And they're trying to align their economics with Ethereum. They're burning some fees. They're bridging ETH that they stake to support yield in the ecosystem. It started like years ago as Consensus ZK EVM. It's been a testnet for a long time, and it has now developed into a fully fledged public launched layer 2 with its own token, Linea, that just came out. It's got a growing ecosystem. It's actively traded. It's in a lot of DeFi protocols, and they're just really starting to bring a lot of new partners, bridges, DeFi, and they're positioning themselves basically as a serious competitor to other layer 2 networks. You can see here they're real proud of their partnerships with MetaMask, the prominent wallet Aave, EtherX, the exchange 1inch, Chainlink. Presumably that means they've got liquidity there. I know that they partnered with Turtle Club to bootstrap liquidity ahead of their mainnet launch. The best chain for ETH capital, where Ethereum wins. Learn more. Every transaction will burn ETH, increasing its value. We've got native staking and so on and so forth. So based on the description I gave, and just based on the simple, I guess, wine bottle look at this website, do you feel like you have any thoughts on, are they reaching their target market? Are they telling a clear story? Do you have other thoughts or feedback for them?
So, Sophie was worried that she wasn't going to have hot takes. I told her she definitely would, and she's smiling like she has one already. So I'm going to defer to the leader in points and possibly ruin my chances at winning, but that's okay. I think it's good for the stream.
I actually don't think I have a good hot take on this one because I understand I'm not the target audience for this one. I think it looks like a nerdy little crypto website, and I don't understand fully what the benefit of it is. So if I would say it's overwhelming, and I would stop looking at it on the first scroll.
To be honest, though, I think that's a great take because you may immediately believe that you're not the target audience for this, but with anything like this that is an ecosystem that is trying to attract not only like businesses and stuff to put stuff there, but also then people to come there and want to explore it and do things there with the projects being built there. If that's immediately your take, that's bearish.
Interesting.
I also told Sophia that she's going to try to not have a hot take, but she will because she's from the U.S. South, and that is just so on brand for the U.S. South to bless your heart, so to speak. Deep down, there is a bearish take, even if it might not look like whatever it's worth. I'm giving myself points in my own head for predicting exactly how that shit was going to go down.
You did call it word for word.
I'll give you a point. I'll give you a real point for it. But I also think like that's a good point for them. They have a clear like vision for who their end customer probably is. I would say looking at this, like I get what they do. It's also really like not for me mostly. It sounds like they're targeting developers or like other businesses because they're like an infrastructural nerdy piece of technology that needs some nerdy people with some advanced knowledge to be able to identify and build on it. Dawufi's like, me. What do you think, brother?
I think this is a classic crypto trap because people think one layer deep, and this is brutal to me, honestly. I don't know them personally. I know I've met people at Consensus. There's a lot of smart people in the ecosystem. I don't hope no one watching takes this as a personal attack. This is a critique for the industry that I hope can make us all better. People want users. Like broadly speaking, they want users. And when you speak only to nerdy developers, you get exactly what we have all over crypto, which is a bunch of projects with no users. So I do think there are second order effects here that people should be thinking more about. Come on, Sophie.
Sophie in the chat.
Where you need to think about what your audience wants. And even if your audience is developers, most of those developers probably are looking for capital or users or volume or whatever it may be. And that's actually what you need to attract. In the same way that I don't talk about Eigenlayer or Goodnow when I'm marketing Opacity, because the people that develop on Opacity don't care about that at all. They are looking for access and verifiable data. I think that a lot of these infrastructure projects would do well to create a groundswell, have a lot of people interested in what you're doing. And I think they'd be surprised at the type of developers and the type of projects you can attract once that happens. And there are exceptions. I think Solana does an incredible job at this. Mega ETH is doing a pretty good job of getting a groundswell as well. Polygon, who I know you guys are close with, they're sort of big worldwide. There's an Avalanche. I love the Avalanche team. I think people are starting to learn it. So even though we're at the bleeding edge, I think there's a lot of learning still to be done. And yeah, I think this is one of those cases where I would hopefully, if I was over there and I was their vibe architect, encourage them to have something that really makes sense to everyone, because even if your audience isn't everyone, your derivative audience or your integral audience, something like that. Hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. The espresso martini's kicking in.
Go ahead, Al.
I just think those are really interesting points when you start to like break it down, because you're 100% correct. We everyone's like looking for users, and it's the golden, metric that everyone wants, but no one seems to be like actually working on, because the only way, and Sophie, you touched on this, the only way we have ever talked to anyone about any of these things is trying to explain, like, with more and more and more detail, how fast and cheap they are. And the point that I keep making is that we're at the point where that shit matters, because everything is fast as hell and cheap as hell. And it really only matters now the rest of it, because, like, to somebody who is looking to go and spend money at the grocery store, or pay their friend back for dinner, or something, one of the many like consumer application use cases that you might see on something that could be built on one of these networks, who gives a shit if something is like less than 3 milliseconds, or if this one's going to take 6 milliseconds? Like, no one's counting milliseconds. It doesn't matter. So all of those are like advertising points to developers and builders who might need to be more worried about building something that can cram this many 100,000 transactions into this time frame, or only want to make this many calls to an API before they're going to have to start paying more for that or this or whatever. But like, to the consumer, none of that shit matters. And we just conveniently leave off the whole consumer thing for all of it instead of everything else.
But I do think you can see the cracks forming, right? Like, there's been a big USD stablecoin thing, people getting mad about Tempo, Robinhood's launching a chain. I think deep down, folks know, even if they don't know how to execute, like, if your tech was so much better, do you think Robinhood's going to come in and make a better chain than, you and your, 15 PhDs? Well, maybe not. But if you're really worried about it, I think deep down people know that users in these things matter. But there needs to be some forcing function. So I don't know who's going to win. I don't make predictions like that. Maybe people in the chat want them, but I'm sorry, I don't do that publicly. Not financial advice. But yeah, I think
you brought one up though. You brought up Mega ETH. There's a great example, right? Because it's fast as hell. They're working on all of these specific things, and yet I never really see them talking about. Bread talks about it sometimes, but I never see, the rest of them talking about it. And I'm pretty sure, someone fact check me, I'm pretty sure all of the founding team are PhDs, at least most of them.
Fact check yourself, brother.
That's
like,
right. I know a lot came from Consensus, and I've talked to them before. I wouldn't do the marketing they're doing for whatever it's worth, but at the same time, it's trade-offs, right? You can't be everything to everyone, despite what some chains might tell you. So you pick your niches and you give it a shot. Right. But regardless of who's winning and who's losing or whatever it may be, there are differences here between, like, user adoption, usage, projects that are useful. There's nuance here that I think is really important. And I hope people, marketers, BD people, dig into that more, because giving away free tokens is not a sustainable business model. I think we all know that, but it doesn't stop people from pursuing it to this day for some reason.
Did you guys see that Jesse Pollock was on some show and he said, I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. I'm launching my own creator coin. And he was like, he's gone full bore. Basis for everyone, baby. I want to like him so much because he seems like somebody I would sincerely, get along with. I bet he gives great hugs, encouraging talks. But I have not seen somebody so well-meaning fall so short of the mark in such a long time. I want to sit down and have a loving, gentle conversation and just be curious and ask him why.
He's just languishing on a really weird hill right now.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's languishing at all. And that's the thing.
Well, he thinks he's thriving, but I think he's languishing.
Okay, I don't want to gossip too much. I said we talk shit, but I'm not going to talk that much shit. I don't even know this guy. You touched on this question kind of without even knowing it, but I want to draw attention just to frame it. Biggie, who asked about Linea, said, so this is no different than Polygon. And it sounds like, David, to summarize what you're saying is, metrics matter, meaningful metrics, users, revenue, and sustainable success matters in terms of like how these people are building a differentiation strategy. And honestly, I feel like brand awareness is a bigger part of that, but I don't know. Do you care to comment on that further, brother, in terms of like, oh, so this is no different than this or this or this. They're all L2s, but they're distinct.
Yeah, I think brand is a huge part of it. Yeah, I think brand is a huge part of it. Absolutely. You're going to gravitate towards the people you want to be around. And also the people you want to be around are more likely to get apps built for them and your group if they're there, right? Like, we can take a very, let's like a hyper-specific example, unintended, of like Hyperliquid. It's a chain. Yeah. It's exclusively for trading, and DeFi is flourishing there. And there's interesting lending protocols, and traders who love that shit are flocking to it because it is really good at doing that one thing. And they need access to credit for their huge, Hyperliquid drops and things like that. Full disclosure, we're talking to the HyperFi team. I think those guys are extremely smart at what they're doing, and they are not talking about creator coins. And that's not an indictment on creator coins, although we could do that too if you wanted to. My point there is they know their audience, so you're going to gravitate to the thing that you like. And when you do this big, broad, we're fast. No one at night is laying up thinking about, I wish my blockchain was faster. Like, it's just not a thing people think about. But there are other things that people think about, right? Like, I wish my blockchain like represented me, or I wish there was an anime game I could play, or I wish they, took social media seriously, whatever it may be. There's a million ways to differentiate yourself. And, I use a lot of car and like luxury good examples, but like, Toyota and Ferrari are both great. Well, maybe not Ferrari. Toyota and Mercedes are both great businesses, right?
Sure.
They're totally different audiences, and they're both cars. So they both go fast. They both go faster than 99% of people will go 99% of the time. But I promise you that the guy walking into the Toyota dealership is not the same guy walking into the Mercedes dealership. And that has a lot to do with brand and features. But at the end of the day, it's people making decisions about how they feel. And that's, I don't know, maybe a little hand wavy for the programmers, but I do believe it's true. And for what it's worth, I think programmers follow the same thing, even if they don't admit it a lot of the time.
That's a great analogy, and I'm going to steal it.
I got lots of car analogies.
Did you see? You're both car guys. I don't know, Sophie, if you're into cars at all. I don't know much about cars except that one's cool. That one seems fat. I know a little. Alex is my resident expert. That Arthur Hayes sold like a couple $100,000 in hype tokens to put a down payment on a Ferrari. Oh man, I was like, okay, priorities.
When I was little, I used to cut pictures out of the DuPont registry magazines and create like collage boards of everything. And the very, very first car I ever remember like really lusting after in the way that, a 12-year-old boy lusts after a supercar someday was a early, let's see what year this would have been. Yeah. Like a mid model Ferrari 360 Modena Spider in like classic Ferrari yellow. I'll never forget that car. Oh, it's beautiful. You gotta look it up. Gorgeous.
You guys pick us up. We'll be ready. We'll enjoy the ride. Get something with the top that goes down so I can, fit and let my hair blow in the wind.
Trucks, but that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm a truck guy. I'm an old beat up truck guy, as you maybe could tell.
That's the David's point. It's an old beat up truck.
Yeah,
there it is.
Love it. I love it. Alex, are you ready to wine bottle on to the next one? So this is another listener request for Plasma. I'm going to read it in and give Alex a little assist with the TikTok screen share if he's got it up.
Yep.
Plasma, the token is XPL, and this is a layer 1 blockchain that is built, they say, for stablecoin payments. So high throughput, low cost, quick settlements so that people can move information that represents money around. All right. And they are really leaning in big time to this like zero fee transfer for USDT, other stablecoins, fast block times. It's EVM compatible. And Binance recently announced they were listing it and integrating it into their hodler airdrops program. I'm not familiar with what that is, but I imagine that would be one thing that would cause a lot of people to be talking about this token XPL right now. Their target user is people who are doing payments and remittances, anybody who needs to send or receive stablecoins quick and cheap, cross-border payments, that kind of thing. Developers building stablecoin apps, people who are integrating them for DeFi, and it's pretty new. Like late 2025 here, it's just getting started, and I've got nothing else on it. So this is a beautiful looking website, but what else have they got for us, Alex? Is there like a...
Yep. So from here, I mean, the only thing, and I will say that I'm not like truly first impressioning or wine bottling Plasma, because we have some friends over there, and actually shout out Jen, who's a phenomenal content creator, has been doing some videography work with Plasma recently.
Oh, I thought she was somewhere else. Okay.
Well, okay, but Jen works like creating content and extremely high quality, very well produced videos for Hyperliquid. She did that for a bit. She's done some work there, and then she's working with Plasma right now. And we actually had some interesting meetings with Plasma, like, oh geez, way earlier this year. Like around Christmas and stuff. Nothing was live, nothing was launched. Managed to launch with like billions of dollars in liquidity, and just like you said, Evan, it's the payment rail for stablecoin payments, and their big thing is that, right, there's no fees for stablecoin transfers. And interestingly, they like transcribe, and I don't know enough to tell you exactly how this all works, but it's interesting and it's probably worth reading about, and it's on my short list. They like transcribe their records into Bitcoin for security purposes. And it's pretty interesting.
I bet Bitcoiners hate it.
You know what? I bet they do. I can hear Dennis cringing from here.
Real quick comment about this, that G33P33, hello, hope you're doing well, says XPL airdrop to OGs in their Discord is worth $20,000 at pre-market prices. Whoa. So big airdrop.
That's a beefy airdrop.
Beefy.
So from here, though, I've actually never like really spent time digging through their website, but I mean, I will say I have no confusion left after this. That makes sense. This is interesting. I'm ashamed to say that I don't know all of these.
Yeah, but we're about to get a lot of stable coins, so you won't know them all.
I get the sense that I'm looking at lots of stable coins. I mean, it's...
You're looking at some stuff that's not stable coins too.
Definitely.
Because I recognize our partner Daylight. I think there's a lot of orange logos out there.
I mean, and they say Bitfinex, so Arthur Hayes, his ears must be burning right now.
Yep.
This is such a...
I mean...
this is not like a wine bottle impression question, but like I feel like this is such a crowded field. I would hate to be playing in stablecoins. It's a huge pie, but I feel like there's so much competition here.
I think we're at the point with stablecoins where like what I want is not just you telling me like, hey, you can send stablecoins here, because I can do that everywhere. The no fee thing is interesting. Like, okay, but again, like I said, the fees on most other places are dirt cheap. And for the average consumer, if I'm sending a transaction and 0.001 pennies of it is going to go towards gas, like, again, I don't really care that much. Especially if I am looking for a solution here. And again, I'm trying to wear my consumer hat, not like my crypto critic hat for all of this. But if I'm the kind of person who's sending a remittance payment to family, and I'm used to Western Union, one of my absolute favorite things to talk shit about because they suck, is what am I used to, right? Days and a significant percentage of my transaction getting taken away in fees, and like losing dollars and dollars and dollars out of the whole thing. So like, the difference between 0.001 pennies and free. Okay. Free is nice. That's a good buzzword. So there's that. But like, I want something more like specific. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just, I'm past the point where I'm excited about like specific networks and things that are just doing stablecoins. I want to see like the stuff that's going on there. And I totally recognize that like this is a layer one. Like this is a network that is built to do this. So again, Sophie, just like you said, me as the consumer, I'm not looking at Plasma, and I can't give any real criticism about everything I just said, because I'm not, a consumer's not going to go to this website and think like, yep, this is the place for me. I'm going to want to see the apps that someone puts here.
What I want to see, I kind of want to bring it up. I don't have a good link for it, but our friends at the Stellar Development Foundation, they have been looking at giving stablecoins rails like many blockchains are. They're particularly focused on LATAM. And I want to say, I think Asia and maybe Africa, just like there are a lot of places that need better, like get your money into crypto, make it a stable coin so that you can use it. And I wish I had it on hand because they are doing really good storytelling about like how they're doing it. They had this great documentary film about a man who uses cash to pay workers at job sites. And one day he got held up at knife point and the money was taken from him because somebody knew he was walking around with like thousands of dollars. And they produced like a mini documentary, beautiful story about his life and about how stablecoins made it easy and safe and instant for him to be able to like pay the people who worked for him. And they have all these assets supporting that story and other kinds of stories like that so that people in these places around the world can see themselves using this solution. They go to them and then help them get on and then tell their stories. It's like, I don't know. It reminds me of what you're saying, Alex. I feel like that is a more evolved product. It's definitely got users, to your point, Dawufi. And it I don't know. It's not just our network is fast. Our network is cheap. Bitfinex backs us,
Yeah.
To me, that's impressive. More so. You guys
I've got friends.
Go ahead.
I've got friends over at Stellar, and I really respect what they're doing. I learned recently that the Wisdom Tree app is basically running on their whole chain, and they're a sleeper. I really do think they're a sleeper in the crypto bubble. I think outside of the institutional world, they've really narrowed down their focus to know their audience and understand how institutional capital flows. I have deep respect for the Stellar too.
You know what's interesting about Stellar is agreed completely, right? Like a lot of our friends work there. Shout out Lindsay, regular recurring guest on the show. They almost, from my perspective, skip all of the chatter like inside the crypto echo chamber, and they have a pretty established brand amongst retail and consumers, right? Like, and I know they're one of the X cryptos, so they get lumped into the, XRP army conspiracy engine all the time. So does XDC. They got lucky. I mean, I guess there's a marketing thing for you. If you want to like launch a crypto and you don't want to do a whole lot of brand work, just make the ticker start with an X and they'll adopt you. Yeah, there you go. Free business advice.
Great idea. Not financial advice, but business advice.
I mean, come on. Like, isn't there something with the ticker XPR? Like, does anyone believe that's not intentionally meant to just be
coincidence?
Like, parasitic marketing? I think not.
Sophie, have you encountered this? Have you encountered crypto tokens that have X in their name and like the people who love them much in your work?
Don't pay attention to crypto tokens.
Yeah, I believe it. What a great life you must have, honestly. You want to trade for a day?
I have no stock in any crypto except for Bracky because I like to sports bet and I was recently introduced to it and Hard Rock just isn't doing it for me. So that's the only cryptocurrency I own.
Okay, hang on. I feel like we need to take a U-turn now. What is Bracky? Tell us if we don't know. And then let's look at that one next.
Yeah.
Let's look at Bracky. I love that because that one I am absolutely, what is it, bullish? I'm bullish on it. That is also a crypto term that I've come to know and somewhat appreciate. But
how do I spell it? Because I'm not hip to it.
It's what?
How do I spell it? Because I'm not hip to it.
Oh, Bracky? I think it's Bracky.
I did Bracky.
I think it's Bracky.
Yep, it's on. I think it's only on Farcaster, I believe. That's how I use it, and you have to. So the cool concept about this is it's sports betting, but the really cool thing about it is in Farcaster, you have to put it in your feed. If you want to do any kind of trade, any kind of bet, you have to do @Bracky, and then you don't have to say like it directly. Like I always put something fun because I'm always betting my money on the Cowboys because that's my team and I just love to lose money.
Okay, I'm a Lions fan, so I
just lost any respect from Alex. That's okay. But I love that it's a very social driven betting because I know with like my friends that aren't in the crypto space at all, but we're all very into sports. Like we all do the absolute most to find ways to share our bets for each week because we all want to tail each other or, tell them it's a good or bad idea and give our opinion on it, versus this is just directly in your feed. All your friends are saying it, and you don't have to say it explicitly. Like, I always put something funny about how I'm rooting for my Cowboys. You know, it's our year, because that's our staple line as the Cowboys fans. So I just think it's super fun and interactive.
Yeah. So it looks like it will post at the start of each week to say, like, these are the markets that are active. Is that right? Or you can just at Bracky in your own comment and tell it what you want to do. Can you clarify?
Yep, that's exactly it. It posts every week. And then I like to, since it posts so much and I really always just have specific teams I'm looking at, I'll just add Bracky and say, hey, what are the odds on the Cowboys-Bears game last weekend? And it'll tell me, you know, how it looks, what those coins are going to transfer to. And then I also think it's interesting that it shares. That's the different than like Hard Rock, versus Hard Rock is just like direct money. If I put in $5, staying is $5, versus Bracky is the shares. So it's going to fluctuate throughout the game. So what you put into it and what you think you might win might go up or down at the end of the game.
And Sophie, do you know more about like the token? I see that you place these bets in Bracky tokens. And I feel like, you know, some apps, they have a token because if you place a bet in their currency, you get like a discount. What seems to be the advantage of buying and using this particular token? Does it like go up and down or in value? Are people speculating on it? Do you get some other kinds of perks for it?
I don't know. I think I only bet with Bracky tokens.
Got it. So one of the cool things about Farcaster, if people are not read into this, this is farcaster.xyz. It used to be called Warpcast. And we have a link that you can use to give us like some, you know, kudos points or whatever when you sign up for it at rumshq.com. But it's like Twitter, except there's a lot of on-chain stuff. And they have these mini apps that are essentially posts in your feed or accounts like Bracky that you can interact with to do crypto type things, to mint an NFT that might be a ticket or a membership, to prove you did a thing, or even to like buy a token right in your feed. So I see here when I clicked Bracky, it brought like a little window up. It'll show me my wallet, the results, my tokens that are trending, tokens on Base, tokens on Hyperliquid. This is like a really good preview of what one version of on-chain internet experiences will look like. And as I look at this token over, I don't know, all time, it looks like it's had sort of a pump. It's, you know, you could get 1,000 of them for $1 or more, it looks like. And it doesn't really look like people are buying it a ton to speculate, though if you bought it a week ago, you're up pretty big. And I don't know, I'd be curious. GP says Bracky is the alpha, but that's what I got. David, Alex, do you have anything to add to this? This is cool.
Yeah, my first
I know Tim. Go ahead, Alex. I have the inside. I know the founders well. I've given them go-to-market advice. Okay. So I'm sitting back. I'm sitting back patiently waiting to hear all the unfiltered advice. So Alex, you first.
Okay, yeah. My first impression is makes sense. Cool. Huge total addressable market, like across everything. Like it makes no sense that we don't see more stuff like this. And it's extremely interesting to me that it's like launch platform, and the place where it like seems to live is Farcaster, which is unbelievably niche and probably doesn't have a gigantic sports community on it. So it feels like project with a ton of potential with a giant TAM that is like basically hiding in the weeds, like hoping that everybody just happens to find it on accident, which seems insane to me.
What do you think? Give him a response.
Yeah.
Fight him.
Shout out to Tim. He's great. I've talked to them a lot about their go-to-market, and Tim was one of the first people I ever FaceTimed when I first got on Farcaster just to talk about random stuff. Bracky, to me, I'm really happy that's like Sophie latched onto this. I think the really interesting part here is the social aspect. Now, there's probably ways to bring this out to Twitter and other social network feeds. It's much easier in Farcaster because you have a wallet associated. But at the end of the day, I think what they've latched onto here is exactly what Sophie was talking about, is that in the real world, most people who are betting on anything are doing it in some sort of social setting. Yes, there are a small percentage of people who are absolute degens who do it as like a living or whatever it may be. Most people are betting with their friends. So to bring that into the feed, to have an AI bot that can sort of handle it for you, make it extremely easy and public to do these things, to really bring to the surface the social activity that it is. To your point, Evan, I don't know anyone who is betting or buying Bracky on speculation. Everyone is buying it so that they can participate in the social activity experiment of betting against your friends, because it's fun to win. To Alex's point about points, or Sophie's point, I think maybe better. It's more fun to beat your friends than it is to beat a bunch of random people. That is the fun of the game, right? And it's not malicious, but it is enjoyable. And I think that's part of the magic here that's happening with Bracky. So I expect big things from them. And for what it's worth, there are a surprisingly large number of sports and at least Formula One fans like myself. We have a hidden group chat for all the Formula One people. Bracky inspired someone to create, or I asked someone, I was like, we need a live chat like function in Farcaster, and Dan Romero was like, yeah, someone else go build it. So one of the guys in the F1 chat said, all right, bet. And he built a live chat. It's called Livecaster. You can go download it. You can use it for whatever, but whenever there's a Sunday race on, all the F1 guys hop on and we all talk shit, and everyone laughs at me for the people that I'm a fan of. And how terrible they do. And I think that's, like, to me at least, as someone who's been on Farcaster for a while, and I'll be honest, I've started falling out of love with the feed. It's Bracky and Livecaster, these other apps that do bring me back to share experiences with my friends, which I think is, it's a little bit like woo-woo, like sort of off in the world. But when we talk about identity and crypto and like things that are interesting, these are the cool things you can do with it without too much friction and some fun.
Do you know why they have their own token? Like, what utility does the token bring? I feel like I would rather bet or, win bets in dollars and not a token that's going to fluctuate like, a million percent. I buy it and I earn it.
I can't tell you for sure. I can tell you why I told him to do it before he did it.
Okay.
There was a big debate. There was a big debate internally. I know he asked a lot of people. I don't know what anyone else said. I can tell you what I said, and I can tell you that they did it. The point of these types of social betting sessions is not to win your friend's money. It is to win, broadly speaking. And you should be able to exercise like conviction. You should feel like something's on the line. But much like when you walk into a casino and you trade your dollars out for chips, these chips now mentally are a wash for the vast majority of people stepping into a casino. You have decided, I'm spending $1,000 on chips, and if I walk out with more or less, it doesn't matter. These are chips now. These aren't dollars anymore. I am going to have more fun and bet more aggressively and talk more shit and all these other things. This is why meme coins are so big, because I think people outside of crypto or like traditional investors, whatever it may be, they think people are investing in meme coins. People are throwing money at it and then forgetting about it. It is not a dollar return after that point. It is, did I win or did I lose? And for my money, I think that's why Bracky is fun, because if I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I took $10 away from Evan, that's quite sad. Yeah. But if I took 100,000 Bracky, whatever, he put it in there. We're having a good time.
Yeah, Tori says, I bet crazy with my airdrop, and I've been doing well off the initial. Sophie, is that like how you see Bracky tokens? Is just, I'm hanging out with my friends. And
I see it a little bit differently. I think it's part of the gamble. I think it makes it more fun. I don't know if I'm going to end up winning that much if my Cowboys win, or if I'm just going to end up losing more even though they won. Like, I think it's just part of the fun of gambling. Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm only going to put in money that I'm ready to never see again. So it's fun to see it go up and down and have more of a thrill to it than just watching the Cowboys game. Because I do love watching the Cowboys game, don't get me wrong, but that makes it just extra fun.
That's the part of like going to a casino that I genuinely enjoy, is like, you take money in that I am planning on spending to like have fun. And so it's not to me like I'm going in there hoping to like walk out with more money than I walked in with, but like I want to go for the experience, which is why something like this is more interesting. Just because the part that pisses me off about casinos is when you just like, you lose and there's like no frills and I didn't really get to do anything, and it all goes too fast and you didn't get to watch anything. I mean, Evan, you remember when we were in Vegas, I don't know how many number of years ago, and we were like trying desperately to just like play one or two stupid casino games, and we just like couldn't even get to the part where we were going to do anything, and it was just like a giant letdown. You remember that? I can't remember which casino we were in, but we like brought in money. We're like genuinely trying to gamble on something to like have the experience and have a drink and then just like couldn't do it, and it was so frustrating.
I don't remember why.
I don't remember what, because remember it's the token thing, right? Like they wanted you to like cash it into this thing and like get the chips, and then like this random ass ATM thing wasn't working, and it was just like a frustrating experience. And that's just what I think about, because I totally agree with Sophie. Like that can be the point. And I think that we need more of that in crypto. I have made many videos about this exact phenomenon in the past. Like one of the things that hurts crypto messaging in general is this idea that everything you do has to be an investment. And if it doesn't return to you, it was a waste of time and money, and it can't be fun. And you're not allowed to just like buy a thing to be a consumer and to like have fun and do a thing and make a purchase. It has to be an investment. And like, if I go buy a blender, I'm not pissed off that my blender is not worth 3 times what I paid for it 6 months from now. If it's making me a bomb ass smoothie every morning, I don't care. It's doing its job. And I wish that was a thing in crypto, where you could just like buy a thing or play a game or do a thing that was fun and I wanted to, and I spent some money, and that's okay. It doesn't mean it sucks. You know what I mean? I don't know. I get too upset about it, but it pisses me off.
No, I'm a big fan of it. And shout out to Tori, who I know from Farcaster, and also is making a bunch of TikTok content. So if anyone's out there, definitely go give Tori a follow if she's your brand. But you know, it's funny. There's seeing more experiments like that. One of another guy I know just launched a casino on Farcaster, but with a twist where the rewards go to the stakers. So effectively, you can buy into the casino and just make casino rewards if you want, or you can play the casino game, or you can play at your own casino, basically, right? Where like you sort of hedge your losses. And I think these are the type of things that get me really excited, where it's like, let's experiment with this new like tech to see like how we can sort of restructure these incentives to make stuff like fun and exciting.
What's it called, David?
It's called Qupaca, Qupaca. And he's in the middle of doing a bunch of launches, and I think he's fundraising. Don't quote me on that. But really nice guy that I met way back in the day. I think it's fun. I think the idea that you can go to, it's the same, I sort of think like the same reason people like own restaurants. It's very rarely because you think it's going to be, you know, it's going to beat the S&P 500 or it's going to beat Bitcoin. Like you want your space. Like you go there, like you know the waiters, you get a free bottle of wine and you pay a lot of money for it, but whatever, it's your place. I think he's sort of tapping into some interesting stuff there in terms of like what decentralization means for ownership.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I like the idea of having like your place, or, you know, third places on the internet. I feel like our shows are kind of a third place. You know, you shout out Tori, and
I am a big fan of this.
We have been knowing Tori, who has been making our spaces. They're just as much hers as they are ours. You know, has taken real ownership of like relationships. You see it on Farcaster too. That's just the kind of person Tori is. But like many people have done that in the space containers we have been able to build. And I am not a technical person. I really don't like to be online that much, but I have enjoyed and delighted in many shared experiences online because of the people and the kinds of spaces we've been able. And now the spaces are getting, you know, updates, features, new wallpaper, things like that. So I'm pretty bullish on it. Tori said, "OMG, I'm blushing. I love you all."
Hey man.
Good to see you, Tori. Always.
Just to pile on, Tori does get shout out for being like one of the first 3 people to ever watch this show, and in a time and place now where we've been fortunate enough to grow to where we are, Tori was one of those people who's like the only person in the audience at the Twitter space for a long time. So
how about giving me some fucking credit?
Yeah, dude, Evan and I famously did one entire episode where not a single human being showed up, and it was like 0 in the room for the entire time. We were just talking to each other. And we've also done a few where like 2 people showed up, and it was Neil and Tori, and my mom. And so Tori's been there.
Points for mom.
Episode 1.
Dude, you may not know this, but Alex's mom, Linda, is maybe not only the best trader we know personally, but might be one of the best, savviest investors in the entire crypto space.
I know. My mom just like will text me. She's like, "Hey, I like." The text from this week would be like, "Hey, I bought Solana at 212," and that was like the bottom of like a V shape, whatever. And then just she's like, "Oh, I guess I'll sell some. It just happens to be the exact local top." And then she did the same thing with the ETH ETF and with like Coinbase stock and with with Solana several times and with several other things. It's just hilarious. She'll text me randomly, just like, "Hey, would it be a good idea to take profits here? This was my entry." It's like, yes, it would. You crushed it. You could not have done better. Did better than every technical analyst I know.
Yeah, she kills it.
I one day hope to have profits.
Someday.
I hear about them. but so far they have, they've eluded me. I want to take a quick break and reset to say to anybody who's joined us, welcome. We're glad you're here. If we've missed your question, drop it again. We've had a request for our friends to sort of reintroduce themselves, to say, what's this Opacity? Share more about it. We would love to do it. Shout out to Eddie tuning into Rise Up After Dark over on Twitter. And also, we need to take a break. Dawufi, dude, what are you doing with the killer effects over there? Every time, do a thumbs up real quick. I think you can get fireworks, man. Oh, I rugged you. I thought for sure it was something like that. I don't know. The stream. Oh, yeah, I knew it. People in podcast land are like, what the hell? TikTok gifts and fireworks. The other thing we need to do is, we always got to do this when it happens. I want to speak specifically to my friend Manuel, who's listening right now. For people who question if it's a live show, we do pay attention. And I just want to briefly take a moment to talk about something that if you have not experienced it, you will soon experience it. Sophie and David, when you followed my stream tonight, there's no doubt in my mind that you got friend requests from 20 people who look like me. And because you're in here with Alex, you probably have friend requests from 20 people who look like him. And it is not uncommon on TikTok, on Twitter, on YouTube, and other places on the internet, especially crypto spaces, that someone will impersonate us and reach out to you to try and leverage the trust that we have built to take your money. This is called a pig butchering scam. And I would really encourage you to look that term up. And Manuel, I am so sorry to have to tell you this, but I think this is actively happening to you right now. This person will reach out to you pretending to be me, and they will lead you to some sort of platform where you will input maybe your wallet, your seed phrase, or it will offer you the opportunity to earn passive income, or send us money and we'll invest for you. And the second you send that money, it's gone. I'm really, really sorry to tell you this, but because they're using crypto, the payments are often irreversible. And though you can and should report the crime to ic3.gov and your local authorities, many times that money is irrecoverable. The best way to make yourself whole is through work, through investments you control. And though this can feel isolating, the best thing about scams like this is that if you know what to look for, they can be easy to avoid. And if you want to look for those things, I would really encourage you to jump into the Rise Up community. This is not the kind of commercial I want to give, but it is a really valuable one. And I know our friends in the comments will attest to this, that if you go to RUMSHQ, RUMSHQ.com, find the first link there. It's our free Rise Up community. That is a great, safe place to connect with the real me, the real Alex, and ask your questions, share what you know, to talk about scams like this, to share a screenshot if you're unsure, to share a website if you're unsure, because there are a lot of people who have experienced this. Very smart, sophisticated people have fallen for this. I've fallen for scams like this before. And it can take time, but you can upskill yourself, you can build your confidence back, and you can make yourself whole. And then you can share your story with somebody else so that this doesn't happen to them. I know this may be hard to believe, but that, my friend, it's not me. And again, I want to say, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. And, we're here for you. Sophie, you're not a token buyer, but I'm curious if you've seen any of these, like impersonators or like bad websites or anything like that. Have you seen some of these scams? Because they're quite sophisticated.
Absolutely, they are all in my DMs, and I just don't respond to any of them. Yeah,
that's a good rule. Don't respond to anybody who DMs you first, because we as creators here, we're never going to message you first directly. You have to reach out to us. And that's why we always plug the website. We plug the community, not because we're not trying to like sell you something, though we do have stuff you can buy. We mostly want you to be safe when you're reaching out to us. No legitimate creator is ever going to reach out to you first like that. Al, do you have anything to add?
No, it just sucks, because the number one thing you want to do doing this is talk to people, and it's literally just too dangerous. So we just can't do it. So we never do. As much as it sucks, we never do. If anyone reaches out to you, it will absolutely never ever be us. Even if I need to talk to you, like, it won't happen, because it's just not worth it. It puts too many people at risk.
And Manuel, if you have questions, like seriously, I'm here for you. Our livelihood is literally tied to our reputation. As a public figure who invites people to trust me, help them learn about this stuff, like there is nothing more serious or important to me than making sure you're in touch with good information and that my reputation is like good. I hate these people and I want to do everything I can to help you. So send us a message through the community and I hope to see you there. Okay. Let's lighten the mood. Let's get some like hype going. I don't have like a got to pump it up, but I do have like a little.
It's crazy you haven't put that song clip on the soundboard yet for as many times as we reference it.
Oh, I know, man. But I feel like maybe this would be a good time to reintroduce yourselves a little, because we did have some folks asking, what is Opacity? What do you do? Where do we find you if we want to learn more about you?
David, your turn to explain what Opacity is.
Yeah, your turn, David. I'm sorry. I've been a bad host. Like 3 times tonight, I've asked an open-ended question without saying, David, you take it. Alex, you take it. And you guys are doing exactly what's right. But I will be a better host. David, please tell us.
You're crushing. You're doing great. My name's David. I run Vibes at Opacity. That's a little bit of BD, a little bit of marketing. Sophie runs our marketing specifically, though. And what does Opacity do? We let users verify and share their data across platforms. So there is crypto behind it. We are an eigenlayer AVS. We recently announced that we have a JITO NCN. That doesn't mean you need a wallet. You don't need tokens. You don't need anything to do this. If you're a developer and you want to get access to user data from other platforms, all you have to do is integrate our SDK, our user mobile app, and you can do things like verify TikTok data, so you know who, it's actually Evan, logging into your platform. You can verify that someone has $1 million to trade, or the prove you are like some proof mechanism. Yeah, exactly. You can do these things. Yeah, exactly. The good news is there is. The bad news is it's early. So we're working on getting this tech out there everywhere. Some interesting use cases that we have out there right now, just to get people's wheels turning about how this is useful. We have a partner named Daisy, where influencers can log in, or even just, micro influencers, whatever it may be, and you can participate in campaigns, get paid $20 to leave a comment on a story or stitch a video. We have another product called Earnify, who's a great partner of ours, and they verify someone has worked, 20 hours at McDonald's. They make $15 an hour. They need $20 for groceries, or they need $100 to fix their brakes to make sure they can get to work. Instead of offering 300%, APY on some of these loans, like payday loans or earned wage access that you've seen in the past, because you can reduce the fraud so low with the verifiable data directly from the HR system, it's free. It's $0. It's effectively streaming your wages directly to you, so you give that time value of money back to people. So really cool stuff going on. Daisy made the Shabuzi song go to number 3 on the Billboard chart, so it works. There's some. If there's marketers out there, they have insanely low CPC rates they're really helpful. So if you don't have access to come on live streams like this and you're trying to create, promote your product, Daisy's a really fun one. But at the end of the day, if you have a consumer product and you'd like to get access to some of your users' data to know them better, give them offers, identify them as like a top tier Uber driver or Airbnb host, that's the type of stuff that we enable.
Beautiful. That was concise. It was thorough. And if you want to learn more about Opacity Network, I shared the website is opacity.network, and their X also just Opacity Network. And I know that they would be happy to hear that you heard about them on Rise Up. They'd be happy to answer your questions, and we would love if you told them that we said hi whenever you see them. So
absolutely,
absolutely. If only there was a way to prove that you were talking to the real Evan. Can we please TikTok start using some ZK to verify our people? My gosh. We have a couple of really good questions here in the comments that are sort of rapid fire I'd love to get to. Our friend Kevin Blakely said, can you earn 3% month over month on liquidity pools or in other places in DeFi? And the answer is possibly. But like many things, the rates change. You got to be nimble. You got to be quick. You got to stay abreast of it. We had a couple of really good episodes this week talking about how to DeFi and build the skills you might need to navigate the waters of decentralized finance. One benefit of which is being able to own or earn yield on your crypto. So check out the episodes from this week. Those are helpful. And another question I thought was interesting is, can a meme token have functionality? Shout out to Papa Aztec. Thank you for being here. Do you guys, Sophie, this is a history lesson for you, but do you guys remember, I don't know, 5 years ago, it seems like, when we started to get meme tokens on Binance, and certainly in the last couple of years as meme tokens have exploded everywhere else, there would be like a phase 2 for some meme projects. They would launch, they would pump, they would get enough attention, and then they'd start to die off, and they would hire a team, and they would launch a product. You know what I mean? Like they would be like, SafeMoon wallet. or Safe Moon merch, or, some of them integrated with like Shiba Pay, I think was like an application for Shiba Inu where they integrated with some stores. Doge certainly did that. And a handful of them have built cool stuff. Like Bonk has an actual Telegram bot that you can use to trade. They have a launch pad now. And some of those things are cool. But my take is that most of it is just designed to make you think like, nope, they're still here. There's still a chance. It could pump. Let me hold on to this thing a little longer. Do you, Alex, I see you looking over there. Do you have the same take, a different take, a hotter one?
I think it's interesting because it's the conundrum that we were talking about at the beginning of the show in reverse, wherein you launch a thing with absolutely nothing except a brand. And then either the brand sucks or it doesn't. And how long can you coast on the fumes of having only a brand and quite literally not a product? Like, imagine that scenario in any other instance except for a currency wherein like a company launched. And I always think about Parks and Rec when Tom Haverford starts Entertainment 720 and nobody knows what they actually do, but they spend a tremendous amount of money and they have this crazy office and they're paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and Detlef Schrempf is just there, right? And he's got like all these NBA players just like arbitrarily standing there for like, a bunch of money. And they built the whole business when John Ralphio got hit by a bus, and it's his bus settlement. And they don't do anything. Like, that's a meme coin. So imagine like that company in real life, and they went to a pitch meeting and they gave you the Entertainment 720 thing with the disco lights. And like, that's literally an episode where they give a pitch, but they never talk about what they do because they don't do anything. It's interesting. So it kind of makes sense. Like you said, like now it's like hey, we are still relevant in a sea where there are now 20 million meme coins compared to a couple years ago when there was a couple dozen. Like you really got to try to stand out. And I think the exception, just like Papa Aztec in the chat was talking about, was probably Pudgy. Built a brand. It had a product. Whether you were into it or not is up to you. It's a subjective. And now there are other things. You can buy toys. There's gifts. There's probably going to be. I'm sure there's going to be a cartoon at some point. There's all these different things, and like now it's a brand that has like some kind of a product presence, and there's a crypto there, and like it makes more sense to speculate on it. So like, but like built more reasonably. So I don't know. That's not really like a single concise take. It's just kind of like a hodgepodge of gobbledygook, but I feel like you probably know what I mean.
Shout out to Austin who said roadmaps for meme coins. The good old days.
The good old days. Do you remember roadmaps for meme coins where they would literally put things like launch website on the roadmap?
It was bad. I also think though that some meme tokens have more utility, and like David, this reminds me of what you're saying about like the layer 2s and distinguishing themselves and bringing some nuance and some brand to the table. I have known companies who have raised money from venture capitalists for just vaporware, or sold tokens to consumers for vaporware, and it's it's like a pitch and a prayer. And honestly, I think there are some meme tokens that even just with their vibes have more like fun time utility than whatever the project of the day is.
That's what I was gonna say. Shout outs to the meme tokens that are honest. We don't have anything. We think this is fun. Get in or get out. Instead of trying to fool. Listen, a foolish VC and his money are soon parted. I don't feel bad for the VCs if anyone thinks I'm a VC sympathizer. I'm not. I love our cap table. There's some really great people that I've met, but broadly speaking, it's not a big deal. Special. I think they're going to be fine. Yeah, exactly. Not our VCs. But regardless of that, I do want to address the question. For my money, at least, the definition of a meme coin means it has no utility. As soon as you slap utility on it, now you're a project. Now, I don't know how many Silicon Valley enjoyers are out there, but like you're pre-revenue, you're a pure play, right? Like as soon as you start saying we have a product, people are going to ask, how many users do you have? How do you generate revenue?
You have a product.
Yeah. And the meme tokens that are like, you're a fucking dog. It's like, okay, at least I know what you are. Everyone else, to your point, who's raising capital for vaporware, and some very well-meaning people. I've met a lot of people who really believe in their vision, who think they can build it, who think that it's the future. And I have to admit that I could theoretically be one of them because I believe in myself as much as they believe in themselves. I think we got a little bit more proof in the pudding, but regardless, like that's what like startups are. And I think the meme coins are, an interesting twist on that, if nothing else. And I do feel bad for the people who are speculating, over leveraged, losing life savings. This is not the good side of it.
Yeah.
But for the people but for the millennials who work at Facebook and want to throw $1,000 at a meme coin because they think a dog with a hat is funny, like that's their prerogative to spend their money the way they want. And it's not that different from going to losing $1,000 at blackjack because the house has the edge. However you have fun, have fun.
To Sophie's point, right? Like it can be similar to the way that you could use sports betting. Like if you have fun throwing darts at the meme coin board and you're capable of doing it without putting your mortgage at risk, then more power to you. There are so many things in the crypto space that I think are way worse than memes. We get to the point now, recently where, the real like PvP nature of the hyper rigged pure scam casino comes out. Like when you look at like the Libra stuff and the Trump and Melania stuff and all that, which is like a very different feel than, like you said, dog with hat or, any of that kind of stuff.
That's unfair. Melania was my only good trade of the year. So I'm going to ask respectfully.
You won the lottery, my friend. Good job. Because everyone got
I won the lottery and then lost it all.
Oh no. I'm grumping political and celebrity meme tokens. Sophie, do you have an expanded take on like just the meme tokens like that, or is that your take? Like, yeah, when they're fun, but
I think the same what Alex said. It's not something that I choose to do. I choose to lose all my money to loving the Cowboys and sports betting. So it's just not my prerogative, but like I understand it. And if that's what you like to do, power to you, just expect to lose it.
Yeah.
But you are doing it with a token now. You have found a way to lose money with tokens. So that I think is
my money
if there's a way to say that you are now part of the crypto sphere, you are losing money with tokens. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I have a belief and I'm losing money doing it. There isn't something more crypto than that.
God, that's so true. Can I put that on a t-shirt somehow and give me that one for the next conference?
Yeah, and
I'm here to lose money. What's up? My name is Alex. I'm here to lose money.
But I believe I
make
won't.
friends and lose money.
But I believe it's important.
Okay, I have another brand that I really want to get Sophie's take on, especially, but would love for you all to talk about. David, if you haven't seen it, I think you're going to love this. Alex, did you see our friend Sam Stefanina posted the news that Remix, the app, is officially live and available for people to download now, not just beta. Anybody anywhere can go play it. Have you guys heard about Remix?
This is news to me.
News to you. Okay, this is a good one.
I can't wait for this.
So our friends, the Blackstock boys, Charlie has been on our show twice to talk about the product previously known as Farcade, now called Remix. Imagine,
I know Farcade.
Okay, great. For the people who don't, imagine, if you will, TikTok, a swipeable feed that serves you not video content, but video games that you can tap into and play. And if you like them, the same way, if you want to add to a TikTok video, you can like stitch it or duet it, repost it and remix it. You can remix these games and you can use prompts to do it, to build them, to create them. They have an incredible trailer that they launched with. And my favorite story about them is there is one of the very first games that they built when they were in beta was called Geo Crush. It is the most played game on their platform. And for the people watching, the folks in podcast land just have to take this on faith. It looks like Candy Crush. Charlie told us the story about how he and his brother are building this. They went home for Christmas and were talking to their sister about it and said, what kind of game would you build? If you knew how to build a game, what kind of game would you build? She said, well, I love Candy Crush. And he's like, great, let's build it. And they start prompting with English to build the game you are looking at or hearing about now. And it quickly became, like, they built it in 4 hours. It quickly became the most popular game on Farcade. And now on Remix, over 2 million plays. She's not a coder. She's not a developer. She's never built a video game before. And now all kinds of people who have an idea will be able to build or like remix games. If you saw this and you're like, shapes are cool, but let's make it Alex's and Evan's faces and Will in a dolphin suit and, like Sophie with a big Cowboys hat on. Like, you could do that. And then you could launch that game. So it's enabling a whole new way to like play, create, discover video games through the power of like AI prompting for a new generation of gamers. And the crypto, totally in the background. It's very cool. And I think their website, at least I feel like, if you were wine bottling this, you're like, oh yeah, it's an arcade app, right?
Yep.
What do you guys think about it?
So
I have a couple takes on this one, actually. For one, somebody please remake Flappy Birds. This is the opportunity. Bring it back.
It's there. It's on there.
Somebody's got to build it.
There's a few.
So
there's a
anyone
few.
who wants to go play with it, please make Flappy Birds and I will go download it. I think it's cool. I think it's also, it could go down the Roblox rabbit hole, and I am not a Roblox fan. I think they've done some terrible things lately if you keep up on the news.
I was gonna say, can you expand for people who maybe don't follow all of the Roblox controversies?
So the Roblox controversy right now is I've never been on it, but I do have a nephew who loves Roblox and he plays on it. And unfortunately, there was this guy, and I don't remember his name, but he went on it and he
Sorry.
he was trying to catch child predators.
Go ahead.
Sorry. He was trying to catch child predators and he was catching them, and then Roblox banned him. And he tried to come back. He tried to ask Roblox, like, let me back on this platform, and they refused. And anyone who supported him got banned. So I think just the way they went about that, absolutely terrible. And it's concerning that they're going to encourage child predators. And I think there's opportunity with something like this. It's just so open that anybody can make games without any type of censorship. I have a little bit of concern for that, because Roblox did that and they didn't censor it or protect children who are on the app. So as long as there's censorship to it, I think it looks fun and awesome. And I can't wait to play Flappy Birds again. But there has to be some type of censorship with it.
I think this is really important. We've talked about this before, not specifically with games, but with decentralized social media, wherein people really think that what they want is like a completely open, like no censorship or no moderation or whatever social media platform, before realizing that you just build like a NAMBLA rat hole on accident, and all of a sudden that's all that it is. I mean, look at Twitter. Twitter is a great example. It has gone through some serious growing pains recently with, removal of certain protections, and then the reinstitution of some of, or the reinstatement of some of those protections and all that sort of stuff. I mean, does anyone enjoy hanging out on 4chan? No.
If I did, I wasn't going to tell you.
Go figure. So
no, I don't.
I think with this though, like I will say that they're not really that kind of games. At this point, there is no like in-game social features. Like what you're doing is prompting like small little arcade games, and then if you see one, like Evan said, that you were like, man, I wish that this did this instead, then you can prompt a remix and post like a new edition of it, kind of thing. Because I agree with you. I think that there's a couple Web3 games that are sort of in that, like, Club Penguin, because Club Penguin's got similar problems or has had similar problems. Old school RuneScape, same kind of thing. Like I vividly remember being a kid in old school RuneScape, and there were people selling weird crap at the Varrock Town Square, right? Like you could say pretty much whatever you wanted, and there's like a whole bunch of weird luring stuff going on. Like World of Warcraft, same kind of. I totally agree. I think that you got to watch that for sure.
Right now, I fully support it. It looks so fun, and I love. Somebody in the comments just said Flappy Bird will be back. I can't wait.
Oh, it's awesome. I have a cell phone like from that era that has that on it, and apparently you can sell them for a few bucks, but
no, that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I still have the original for that exact reason, just because of that game. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an HTC One from like 2013.
For people in podcast land, I just want you to know that I have spent the last 5 minutes listening half-heartedly and screen sharing myself playing Flappy Nouns, a Flappy Birds clone, and I'm trying to play a game called Sausage Climb, but all I'm doing is watching a GIF of a hot dog in a bathrobe lighting up a pipe. So somebody might need to work on that game a little bit, but I'm going to give myself a couple of points for getting 11 points in Flappy Bird. I'm only going to give myself 2 points for that, though, because I feel like that seems fair, right? And I just want to say, again, to our friends at Remix, killer app, awesome idea, and so happy for your success. You can download that in the App Store. Just search Remix GG, and that's their handle. I think Remix GG on X, and you can find them. We'll put them in the show notes. Are there other products or companies that you guys are like watching in our space or beyond our space that you think are doing a particularly good or particularly bad job? I would love to know, and especially you, Sophie. Like again, from like you're the expert here. I'm totally trying to learn from you about like who's doing what well, or what you think people will be doing that we go 6 months from now, oh yeah, we should have seen that coming. That was really smart. Anything stand out to you?
I'm gonna let David take this one first and kind of piggyback off him.
Just putting you on ice, David. Good luck, man. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like this one comes up a lot, and I've always like struggled to think of all the things that I've looked at during the week. I think, broadly speaking, it's very exciting to see more large companies sort of explore the limits of our technology, but also, blockchain in general. So the very simple versions of that are obviously the finance companies, but there's a lot of interesting like sort of rewards companies and other spaces where people are looking very deeply at like how to identify people and then use that as a boon for the entire ecosystem as opposed to otherwise. As far as specific products, what was I looking at recently that was really interesting? On the finance side for the DeFi nerds, like I said, we're close to the HyperFi guys. They recently launched a credit card, which I think is super interesting. It looks a lot like every other credit card, but with some bells and whistles that make it feel real. I'm excited to get my own, and I think this is one of those cool unlocks that like sort of these financial tools have been available to the wealthy in the traditional finance system for an extended period of time, where you don't have to take taxes because you can take loans against your thing, the same way Elon bought Twitter or the way Jay-Z buys his house, right? Like you can sort of work the system a little bit better. And I think expanding those tools to everyone is like very exciting for me on the DeFi side. On the consumer side, what was I just looking at? Well, Kipaka, obviously, we talked about them already.
That was cool.
We talked about Bracky as well. I think we might have hit like the most interesting things for me this week. I might have to go look at my calendar and see who else we talked to, because I feel like I'm missing someone that I should give a shout out to, and I can't remember who it is.
Dawufi, are you hip to DeFi Carrot? We had them on the show this morning, and if you're not, I'll give you the quick TLDR because that's a cool one.
No, let me know about that while I'm looking at my my stuff going on here.
So DeFi Carrot is on Solana. They have a Carrot token, which is like a representation of the basket of yield generating assets. It's basically like an index token. And what's cool about it is it always goes up and to the right. And it simplifies the process of earning yield that you can, swap for your USDC that you deposited when you turned it into Carrot tokens. It's a good savings account. It's good for onboarding people to crypto. It's very transparent in terms of like you can see it's not just one product you're getting a yield on. Like if you're familiar with Marinade, you get MSOL when you stake your SOL, or Liquid ETH when you stake your ETH, and there's like one thing that's earning you yield. It's sort of like a underlying basket. Soon they'll make it more customizable, but still like one click kind of thing for low risk, high risk. And what's cool about it is you could take a loan out on that. It's liquid. You don't have to sell it and trigger a taxable event. And people are exploring, Bitcoin loans, but the interest rates are really high. This would be a much more probably crypto native, convenient, and like cheap way to generate value and then get velocity for your money. I thought it was really cool, and they've got a neat brand, DeFi Carrot. They had the logo is the original like emoji carrot from way back in the day. It was good.
I do think that rings a bell. I think I might have seen them somewhere, maybe on your guys' show, honestly. So I'm all fans for stuff that are making it easier. I have been on a bit of a DeFi kick. I can't reveal everything that we've been working on at Opacity, but we've been talking to regulators, and so I'm in the DeFi head right now. On the DeFi side, I know the guys over at Glider. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet.
We love Glider. We've had them on the show too.
We've had them on.
Okay, perfect. So I love the Glider guys. It's early for sure for them, but I can tell you for sure that whatever I set up my strategy to be over there is definitely outperforming whatever I'm doing on Hyperliquid, like manually. So shout out to Glider.
I was a big fan of
that. And I know we've talked about Courtyard before, but with Pokemon blowing up again, I feel like I'm always loving to give a shout out to, I know Joe, one of the engineers, the head of engineering over there from Farcaster. He's just an incredible like human being, but I love to see them get growth, exciting, hit a meta. If you're into Pokemon stuff or collectibles, I love the Courtyard platform. I've got a couple of Pokemon cards sitting there, which I imagine have gone up in value at this point, although I don't know for sure because it's not like my main thing. But as far as like fun things to do that are crypto powered, but you don't need to be a crypto nerd to do it, I bring up these guys all the time. And anytime I get a chance to give them a shout out, I always try to do so.
Our colleague Will bought a one of their legendary Pokemon packs, whatever it was, like he spent $1,500 or whatever on a stream.
It was $2,700.
Oh my God. And it was like thrilling. The experience of unwrapping it digitally was really cool. And their custody solution is so smart. It was a really, really great episode. If you missed it, search, the Rise Up Morning Show Courtyard. Nico came on the show and he was just fantastic. Did you hear about Zard Capital?
No.
So this is like a similar play. They launched this token called Zard so that anybody anywhere can buy this token, which represents a bunch of Charizard cards that they have like custodied in this way. They've got digital twins of them, and their strategy is like to allocate some of the capital from the tokens. They raised money, a couple of friends, to buy a bunch of Charizard cards. Then they launched this token that they use some of the proceeds of to buy more Charizard cards, and that accrues value of the token. And then they buy more Charizard cards, and it's just like a super niche like hedge fund that's betting on Charizard.
It's the most secure backup.
Honestly, it's very.
Yeah, I was racking my brain to see if we had talked about this publicly or not, but I think the episode.
Have another espresso martini and tell us about it, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, we had the Hyperfi guys on our podcast, and I believe they secured the ticker PKMN. So there's going to be some.
How is that not a thing already? That's insane.
So that's I believe that's out there already, but
if it's not allegedly,
I'm dropping it here before it dropped on our podcast. The episode's coming out soon. If you guys want to go follow the Rubicon Pod, I do that with our founder Hirsch.
I was going to say as a shout out to David, you're over on Twitter. I'm sure we can find the Rubicon through your profile. Or what's the handle for it?
Yeah, I believe it's Rubicon Pod. Let me double check though. I know we're at Rubicon_pod on YouTube.
Rubicon_pod.
Yeah, and if you haven't tuned in, they've had some really solid conversations. There was a great conversation that you hosted us for. I absolutely loved it. I have not heard the most recent. Oh, look, there's my face. How cute.
There you are, right there. Oh, the dolphin.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. There are some really good episodes. I also have this one bookmarked to listen to. I haven't listened to this. I love the one you guys did with Natter. Was great. It's good conversations. So check it out.
Natter's fantastic. Yeah, we had Sriram on from Eigenlayer, Dan Romero from Farcaster, Dan Elitzer from Nascent. A lot of really fun people we're lucky to be connected to who are willing to come on and talk to us about what's going on in the world of crypto and sort of big ideas.
Okay, Sophie, you've had a minute.
I have
to think about it. Brands, crypto or otherwise, probably crypto preferred, but the floor is yours. Who's killing it? Who's not? What are we going to be doing in 6 months?
All right, I'm going back to Bracky because I only know the ones that we're partnered with, and Bracky's the only one that we are not partnered with that I'm like kind of familiar with. I think if they're able to get off of Farcaster, which truthfully none of my friends have ever heard of Farcaster and aren't familiar with it, so I think they're just limiting themselves. If they can get off of it, I've told them about it. They were all aware that I was playing with it this weekend. We're like, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but I'm not downloading, Farcaster just to play with it. They just weren't interested in doing that. Now, all of my friends are on Twitter. So if they can get over to Twitter, we would have so much fun with it. So,
and there's got to be a foundation for that, right? I mean, Banker and Clanker are both on Twitter. And I don't know enough to say this super confidently, but I'm sure that it's similar, right? Like if you can build one, you can build the other probably.
I think I've met our Opacity engineers and they've convinced me that anything's possible. So I think they can do it. I'm not an engineer, so I'm not credible, but I think they could do it. I hope they do. It's pretty fun to play, so I'd love to see it happen.
Okay, cool. Shout outs for Bracky. And if you have a suggestion, if you've got a nominee, leave it in the comments. I do want to say for all the folks who tuned in, we're so grateful to you. If we didn't get to your question, we still have some time before we land this plane, but that's what the community is for. If you haven't joined, I do want you to head over to RumsHQ, RUMSHQ.com, grab the link. I need to send you guys a link. We are curating a friends of the show chat over there so that people can do like, hello, how are you, casual biz dev, recruit a guest, fill an appearance, whatever, with all of our different guests and friends of the show from across the crypto sphere. And we can make it easier for you to get value from us or give back to the folks. But if you're not in the community, it's a great place to meet other crypto users, to ask them your crypto questions. It's where the show lives 24/7. I often say it because it's true. The only thing missing is you. And I want to let you know that we're going to be back tomorrow morning to close out the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live there Monday through Thursday. If the conversation has been a little above your head tonight, maybe too much inside baseball, don't fret, don't sweat. The morning show is really the place where we dig into Web3 101. After dark, we try to go a little deeper. We might be a little faster. And if you feel like you're not quite catching it, show up to the morning show, show up to the community, ask your questions. You'll get there. It's like drinking from a fire hose or falling in the river. And you don't have to be super smart. You don't have to be super technical. You don't have to be rich or even good looking and well lit like all of us. But it certainly helps.
Have you seen?
My writing's great, so I take offense.
I'm giving myself a point for that one, and I'm giving Alex a gwump. Although I told him before we got on the live stream, I was like, Alex, you're looking very feng shui. Like that little, you got the little plant wall in the background, the kind of like avocado coated wallpaper. My
light was literally a Milwaukee like construction lantern, which died almost immediately after starting the show. So, you know, I'm trying. I'm struggling over here.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
It is what it is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Somebody save us from ourselves. Absolutely. Okay. So warm your final thoughts up. Like you'd warm your hands up, and especially if you're in podcast land, leave us a comment. Leave us a comment where you are. I am very excited for our friend Cosmic Popovich, who's in the chat right now. This is a little inside baseball too. Did you see this, Alex?
Yeah.
Is that a member of your family there?
No, you get two guesses who that is.
My dad can beat up your dad.
I think it's your dad's alter ego. We got to have him on the show.
If you can get my dad on the show, that would be an accomplishment. But no,
yeah.
that's not my dad.
Okay. It is truly about that time for
I will absolutely die on this hill.
Alex to die on a hill in the metaphorical sense. We hope you stay around for a long time, and for all of us to get ready to ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. So I'm going to get a final thought from our friends. I will let you guys go first. Sophie, I'll come to you first because this is your very first live stream. David, I'm coming to you next. But before we give final thoughts, last minute questions, let us know, is there like something we can do to support you guys? For people who want to learn more about Opacity, I'm going to put the link to our past episode and the link to the Rubicon pod that we did together in the notes so people can find that. I'll put the links to Opacity in the notes, but where would you prefer that people connect with you, get in touch, learn more, all that stuff?
Yeah, follow the Twitter account if that's your thing. I'm Dawufi everywhere, DAWFI. If you want to message me on Telegram or follow me on Twitter or find me on Farcaster, whatever's comfortable for you. But the website, opacity.network, has our Telegram group chat as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to hop in. More than anything else, what we're looking for are people who have exciting ideas, the stuff they want to build with user data. But if you're just interested and want to try stuff out and try out our partner projects, I highly encourage you to do that as well. So yeah, get excited, get involved. I think it's a new way for things to function. I know we didn't talk too much about Opacity on this particular stream. I didn't want to make it about that, but you know, this is entertainment, and if some of the stuff that we talked about is vibey or interesting to you, you'll probably be interested in what we're building, at least from an arm's length, to get excited and maybe tell someone else who would be interested in building something with us. So, we're a B2B business, but I do care a lot about the consumer and the folks out there who end up benefiting from the tech. So, the same way, I think one of the reasons I love coming here, Evan, is because your energy about, helping people out is the same way I think about things as well. And obviously, Alex, you too. It's just Evan talks about it more directly as the host. So, so if you have any questions, whether about Opacity or otherwise, I'm here to help people out and bring people into the fold. Feel free to shoot me a message, and if I can help, I will.
Dawufi, the check is in the mail, man. I'm giving you a point for that, and I'm giving me a point for that. Thank you very much.
And Alex, next time, if you talk about saving people, maybe you can get a point too.
I'm going to give him a point too, just because I pity him. And he's my good friend. He's my very good friend.
Tonight, my only goal coming on here was to beat David.
Yeah,
it's pretty safe to say that I'm not winning.
But you do still have the chance to earn some points before I announce the totals, and so do you, Sophie. I mean, Dawufi's pretty much done. So the floor is yours. Give us a final thought. How was your first time on a live stream? Do you have feedback for us?
Great. No, I told David beforehand, I was like, if I'm going to go on any show for the first time, I'm so glad it's this one. I've talked to y'all before. I've watched y'all's show. Knew y'all were going to be laid back. This was super fun. Everybody in the comments was so fun to listen to and watch and read during all of it. So I love the energy for it. Thank you for having me on. I hope to hear from everybody in the comments on our Opacity, Telegram, and Twitter. So that's all I got. Thank you for having me on.
The people in the comments absolutely loved you, Sophie, and we appreciate you both so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a little... Alex, I'm going to give you a final thought in a minute. And I'll even do this because I like you. I'm going to give you 2 points because you don't get the chance to earn points on final thoughts. I'm sure whatever you said would have been point worthy. And you'll give a great final thought next. So that's my confidence in you. People in the points, let me know if I missed some points. And, we still got time while I tell you that in last place with 1 Gwump is our friends Western Union.
Not ideal.
And
I love that for them.
I love
That's
that
where they belong, at the bottom of the points leaderboard every show.
Absolutely, every single show. With 1 point on the board tonight, feeling good about themselves, we've got Neil, Linda, the ticker PKMN, Opacity, Daisy, Jen, shout out for the great content, Bracky. Actually, Bracky has 2 points. So Livecaster has 1 point. Mandible has 1 point. Glider has 1 point. Bracky has 2 points. Tori has 2 points. I have got 3 points, which means in third place, he's your friend and he's mine, Mr. Alex Popovich. Congratulations.
Hey, man.
And that brings us to second place with 7 points.
Oof.
It's Dawufi, which means your champion achieving her goal the very first time. She's got a perfect record. It's Sophie with 8 points. Congratulations, Sophie DeMolay. You are a winner. How do you feel?
I feel like a winner strictly because I beat David. So thank you to everybody who helped with that.
Crushed it.
You're welcome. Alex, have you got a final thought, a last question, attempt at points to bank early for next week, or just a killer roast for me before we go?
I would never roast you. I do have a final thought and a question rolled into one. So, Sophie, I'm curious, just because you gave us your thoughts on Bracky, obviously, and makes sense. I'm curious if you were to try to summarize, like briefly, do you have like a checklist for someone who you would say is like doing it right? So that like if you were to give, a little cheat sheet to people who wanted to look at a crypto project and they were trying to figure out whether or not they were approaching like branding or the story or the messaging or the communication, the marketing in a way that you have seen or that from all of your experience is like more likely to work than just nerdy gobbledygook on a website that you can barely understand, what would that little cheat sheet say?
Can I just say the Daisy script? Does Daisy count as a crypto business? Because everything they've done and that I've seen, they market to all the right people. They're connected with all the right people. They got Shabuzi songs #3. They're amazing to work with. Like, I think they do everything right to a T. So if they're considered crypto, I would say them. And
I would say for sure. Yeah. I mean, they're in the industry. I'm not super, like nitpicky with, who's considered crypto or not. I think that if you're building like in and around the Web3 industry, I think you deserve to be like on a list of projects and stuff.
Well, they also utilize Opacity. So I think that in itself ties them in close enough to Web3 since that's how Opacity started, was a very focused in crypto and Web3 brand. So I think that brings them in. So I'm going to say Daisy.
So as I look at this, like what I'm taking from that, and from your comments, it's immediately clear to me when I look at this, who is supposed to be reading this and what are they supposed to be getting from it? And then if I am that person, if I can put myself in their shoes, am I like understanding what I'm doing here, like where I belong, where I'm supposed to go? I mean, effectively what you're saying is, and you hit on this earlier, if I can't tell who's supposed to be here or what they're supposed to be doing, then we're immediately off to a bad start.
100%. And I think it's easy for both brands and influencers to utilize the app. I went in and tried, before I was even introduced to them, I downloaded the app to see if I could understand it. And I immediately understood it from the influencer standpoint. Like just connecting my socials, playing around with it, I immediately understood the benefit of what it was like to be an influencer on the app. And then meeting them, their first time meeting them, I instantly understood all the business benefit to it as well. With one conversation, it didn't take them, I didn't have to ask, can you dumb this down? Can you take it out of a crypto standpoint? They just explained it. And that is something that hasn't happened in a lot of my conversations with crypto companies. So I think they're just already at the best level to spread it worldwide, which is amazing.
No, I dig it. To be honest, and Evan, you kind of touched on this earlier, that's exactly why I'm so excited about Remix, because I'm just like, you can explain it in one sentence and I immediately know whether or not I'm interested, but it's not because I'm like confused. It's because I know, now I'm not really a mobile gamer, or like, yeah, I love playing cell phone games. There's so much power in simplicity.
100%.
David, are you prepared for all the inbound that is going to try and poach Sophie in the years ahead as she continues to just make what you guys do clear and successful?
I think I'm a pretty good boss. I think I'd like to think that part of the value working at Opacity. Yeah.
She's feeling charitable, I'm sure. Right, so
I think.
Well,
I
think so. Beat him tonight, so I have to give something back to him. He was a great boss. I'm not going anywhere. I'm loving Opacity.
Well, I am so glad that you made your way to our industry. I really appreciate all the insight. Alex, is that your true final thought? That was pretty good. You would have gotten that second point. Fair and clear.
I appreciate it. You made a down payment on it, so we ended up in the right place. So you invested early, and it really paid off for you.
I 3x my return. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm well met. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for giving us so much of your time tonight. This was a ton of fun. Sophie, I think adding, going from your resume and adding make ZKTLS clear for people. I mean, hell of a resume line, and that's an accomplishment to behold for sure.
Thank you, and thank y'all for having us on. This is a lot.
We're grateful to you, and we are grateful to you, my friends. That is my final thought, to say thank you wherever you are, whenever you listen. Truly, truly, you are the very best part of what we do. So, my friends, until next time, everybody stay safe. Be well, my friends. Rise up.